I am Lawrence Chuno, and this is Doing Jazz. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Jazz. My name is Lawrence Chuno, and this episode is with vocalist Michael MWENSO. Michael is the leader of the group MWENSO and the Shakes, a vibrant band with new and fresh sounds, invigorating arrangements, and an unmatched stage presence. Michael and I talked about these attributes of the Shakes, along with many other things, including but not restricted to how he got into jazz, his artistic inspirations, and how he maintains a good connection with the past and the future. The song playing in the background is titled No Regrets and was performed by MWENSO and the Shakes live on Brick TV. After listening to this episode, you can learn more about Michael MWENSO by going to the website of the show, www.doingjazz.net. And you can also listen to more episodes of Doing Jazz by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the available podcast vendors. While on iTunes, please rate the show, leave a comment, and share the show with your loved ones. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I present Michael MWENSO in your face.
You better stand up tall. You better stand up tall. You better stand up tall. And you will.
Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall.
Stand tall, my friend.
Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall.
Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. So you win.
Michael MWENSO, welcome to Doing Jazz.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I have you here because I'm intrigued by your band. So I want to learn everything about it. It's called MWENSO and the Shakes. Now, I'm fascinated by the arrangements of your songs. It's new, it's fresh, it's vibrant. The relationship and the connection, the interaction between the band members also is very new. It's just good. So I don't know where to begin, but I just hope we can have a conversation about it.
Of course.
I want to learn more, and I want people to learn more about it.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
what would you tell me what you want to, you ask the questions and then I'll do my best to answer them.
okay. Earlier, we were just talking about how long you've been together. So how long have you been together, and what are the configurations of the band?
Well, a lot of the, I think, first of all, the band has evolved. It's grown.
Okay.
It has evolved in the different units it has been. You know, a lot of this movement that has really sprung in the last few years, you know, started from a lot of the curatorial work I was doing at Jazz Lincoln Center.
Okay.
And through a lot of the work that was being done there, sprung a lot of the great musicians that are really happening in this time. So the Shakes was just one of those groups that through many of the jam sessions and a lot of the programming I was doing, there were a lot of musicians developed and figured out a lot of their musicality and who they wanted to be. And also I did. And also through that developed the Shakes. Through me developing my identity is how the Shakes became, because the Shakes then became and has become my musical identity. Through me learning even more about the music, through me getting to play with different musicians every week, and by me deepening my knowledge of the music, it allowed me to figure out even deeper understanding of what I wanted to give to the world and what the musical identity would be. And that's really what the Shakes has been. It's become the musical identity of my life. All the music I listened to as a young boy growing up in Africa, growing up in England, living with my godfather who loved Afro-American music, American music. My mom loved music. My auntie was a deep lover of jazz. All of that combination has then sprung into of how we are now kind of presenting music in the Shakes. The Shakes has become kind of a musical tapestry of a presentation of a good piece of a lot of great forms of Afro-American music.
Nice. When I watch, I've spent a lot of time watching your performance on YouTube. What I see is a band that is very together, and when people watch, they don't know the amount of work that goes into having a band that tight. Do you care to kind of maybe enlighten us, or maybe start by telling us how often you guys practice?
There's a lot of spiritual stuff that goes into, you forming that type of trust with people that you can be as free and as tight and as loose.
Yeah.
We're very lucky, for the last few years we've kind of lived with each other. Even though some of us have lived in separate houses, we've lived all maybe in the same area. A lot of us live in the same area, Harlem, 120 something street, 139th Street. But we all live very close to each other in the avenues. And that has enabled us to grow as people together, to mature with each other. We eat with each other. We break bread. We party. We celebrate. We discuss. We cry. Those are the things that really make it. And then you go play music with those people, and then it makes sense, and then it works out.
Yeah.
But you have to do those things too. I mean, there has, of course, in music, there always has been bands too that they weren't close like that, but they sounded great. The Modern Jazz Quartet, maybe some groups now, but we live with each other and have lived with each other for a while, so it allows us to be very spiritually telepathic. And it allows us to be very trusting of each other. Really, even though I'm in front, I'm more like a conductor. Leading, but more conducting, because there's a lot of freedom going on stage. A lot of them are playing simultaneously all the time. And I like them to be free. I like the freedom. Yeah. With structure.
You mentioned freedom.
Freedom
is good for art. But a lot of freedom, too much freedom, can destroy art too. So I'm interested in finding out how you maintain that balance as a band leader. Do you get what I'm saying?
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm just listening. You must be always connecting with the different times. You must be connected ancestrally. You must be connecting spiritually. You must be connecting with the people that came before. You must be connecting with the forms that came before. You must be connecting with the people that are coming towards you.
Yeah.
If you keep all those relationships up in your internal life, you keep it a balance. So in regards to how do you keep a balance of people being free?
Yeah.
You keep an eye on other parts of the world. You keep an eye on other parts of people. You keep yourself in check. You be around old people. They'll tell you, okay, rein it in. They'll tell you. So, you keep yourself. But, that's interesting, because, everything is in balance. It's all balance.
Yeah.
It's all balance. It's all binary. No good, no bad. It's all balance,
True. So you talked about how you guys almost live together. I mean, and you do a lot together. For somebody who, for me, I've had the opportunity to be a band leader, though very small, usually a trio or a quartet. And sometimes you might end up meeting a good musician who plays the music, but he might not be as connected to the music or as connected to the spiritual level of the music that you're trying to attain, but he plays well or she plays well. What do you do with that kind of person? You know what I mean?
Well, it takes years and years of going through different musical human scenarios with people, and years of playing with people that you don't connect with, but you gotta play with them. Playing with people you do connect with, playing with people you don't really like their playing, but they're nice people. Or playing with people. Playing people that they're not really your vibe, but they're nice. So you do the gigs with there's all kinds of different people, and that's all part of the practice of being a musician and being human. Is also learning how to deal with those different scenarios and humbling yourself and keeping in balance.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this one he ain't really my vibe, but he's a nice guy, and we play music. It's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So for me, of course, there's been all those different experiences, but then you get paradise,
Yeah.
which for me is the Shakes. The Shakes.
I totally get it.
The Shakes is is where I find peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and to find people that allow me to find peace.
Definitely.
And then to find happiness in people that allow you to be yourself. And don't judge and
Yep. Yep.
hold you, and that's what the Shakes do. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, musically. That's what you do. That's what you, and that's all of it. That's all part of the humanity of being a musician and living as an artist and
Nice. Nice.
finding fellow artists and fellowship and communion. And
Awesome.
it's deep.
It is. It is. It is. I have I have a lot of questions about the the Shakes, and about being a musician and the philosophical aspect and the spiritual aspect. But I wanna go back to the very beginning, right? I want to know where you're from.
Well, I was originally born in Sierra Leone, Freetown. That's where my grandmother was from, but my mother is Yoruba. She's Nigerian. Her father was Nigerian. Her mother was Sierra Leone, but she was born in Nigeria.
Nigeria, so she's Yoruba.
She was born in Ibadan, and she was raised in Ibadan, and then she left Nigeria at 17, and then she came to England, and then she met my father, and they had a relationship, and she decided to have me in Sierra Leone because my grandmother was there, and my father had to leave, so my grandmother said, "Come and have the child, while I'm here." So I was raised there, but really mostly we went back to Nigeria, and then we moved to London when I was 10.
Okay.
And then I lived in London up until now, 6 years ago. And then 6 years ago, I moved to New York, to come and work at Jazz Lincoln Center.
Okay. From London. Okay.
And then now I've been living in Harlem for 5 years.
Oh, nice. Nice. How do you like New York?
New York is a dream. It's a dream. It's this has become another part of my life. It's become another whole time. And there's been a lot of different times too.
Yeah.
This is another time, and New York has been quite a centerpiece of now at least 2 times, because the first time was the beginning, which was like, you know, all the stuff at Jazz and Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
This is the second time now. This is now the next time of this time.
Okay. Let's talk about the period, the musical period before Jazz at Lincoln Center.
Okay, so that would have been in London
Yes.
when I was at Ronnie Scott's.
Okay. How did you get introduced to this musical world, this world of music back then?
Well, you know, I was you know, learning music from about 11. You know, when I came to England, I started learning to play piano and then moved on to trombone. But also, I played a lot of different instruments when I was young. I played guitar, I played drums.
Okay.
All right. But piano and trombone was the ones I stuck with. And I was always singing. And I started performing very young, at like 12, 13, with different bands and sitting in with them and stuff. Traveled a little bit, you know, as a child. And then, of course, I started going out and checking a lot of music as a young child and became very, you know, I made it
Inquisitive.
I made it my job to, you know, to go and check out these musicians and go and see Ray Charles and go and see B.B. King and go and see Aretha Franklin and go and see these people, you know, and go and see Betty Carter and go and see these people and try and meet them. You know, there's always an aim to try and meet them, even if it was for 1 minute or 10 minutes or an hour.
How old were you?
I was about 12, you know, 11,
Wow.
12. But from that age, I was, you know, I was an only child, so I was always very forward.
Okay.
And I was always very independent, you know. So
what triggered that curiosity towards that kind of music, that jazz music?
well, because my aunt, as I said, my aunt, who was my mother's sister,
Yeah.
she was my mother's Yoruba name is Eniola. My aunt's name is Titi.
Okay.
And her, Titi, she loved vocal jazz. She liked Billie Holiday and Mildred Bailey and Helen Forrest and Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and Louis Armstrong. And then my godfather, who I lived with off and on through a lot of my younger life, who was also like a father to me, he loved Afro-American music. So a lot of the ears come from living with them and stuff.
Nice. And then how did you get to Jazz at Lincoln Center?
Well, when I was also that age, you know, I met Wynton Marsalis. And I met him when I was like 12, 13. And just, you know, the relationship with him grew as time does. And, you know, I would visit with him over the years. And then he came to Ronnie Scott's when I was working there and saw all the stuff that was happening and seen that there was a community and a scene. And then he wanted something like that to kind of happen at Jazz Lincoln Center. But, you know, and he asked me to, you know, it was his aim that I would get over there. It was definitely something he, for like 2 years was a mission, and then it kind of died, and then it was really, at that time he was his personal assistant. He's now actually, you know, someone who's very important in my life. He's my manager and very close brother. His name is John Gasparo.
Okay.
And he was working at Wynton then. And he was the one who kind of kept the name going. You know, let's get MWENSO here. Let's get MWENSO here. So that's how it happened. And then, you know, then I came. And that was a whole nother journey. You know,
I bet.
And a journey of that has brought me to another journey. So it's incredible.
So at Jazz at Lincoln Center, what did you do exactly?
I was a man of many things. The official title would be a curator, but you know, I did a vast array of jobs there. I would run and host and program the jam sessions. I also would program some of the main sets. I also would teach for the Jazz for Young People programs. I also would listen to all the archives of all the archival concerts that they've recorded there. I listened to all of them so they could be released. I was somebody that also had to curate different types of programs and stuff. So, we created a dance party, which now has become one of the most uniquely engaging dance parties in New York City. Integrated. One of the most unique dance parties because it's integrated and it's multi-generational and it
Integrated in terms of
integrated
race?
and integrated in a sense of age,
Okay, age. Okay.
race, gender. You have young gay people there. You have young lesbian people there. You know, you have old people dancing there. You have younger people dancing there. It's a
Nice.
multi-generational thing. It also is one of the only few dance parties in the world which they're playing real holistic jazz music.
Wow.
They play all different styles of the music. People dancing to it. That's what and I was able to start that at Jazz Lincoln Center. Then I was able to start. We did some things when I first got there where I would set up workshops with some of the young musicians with Winton, and that was a testament to him really doing that. But there was a lot of stuff. Very glad about a lot of the shows I put together. There was a Betty Carter show that was
Awesome.
I put together there. Had a large part of putting together. There was a Billy and Boy show that I had a part of putting together with also a great trumpeter Riley Mahoka. There was a Crescent City Samba show. There was a lot of different shows. There was a holiday swing show. That was really where I figured out, how to increase and understand the importance of putting the music in many different kind of contexts to present it in a way that's common for any type of person.
Yeah.
But
And when you
still-
when you have such when you
You
put
have
it
to
in
have
such
stuff
a
that's
format,
accessible. You have to have
yes,
stuff that's
yeah. Once
accessible.
it's accessible, then it makes it modern, and everybody is able to.
Everybody understands it.
Nice.
And the music, you can always put. We don't put the music in enough contexts. We don't put the music in enough different vibes, and we just put it in kind of one straight jacket.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is how it's presented in the club. It's dry. It's stale. The lights are horrible. Even the waitresses don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And this is the environment of jazz.
Yeah.
This is the environment of jazz quite a lot of places all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's not saying that every environment's like that, because there's some great environments for jazz. But we create some very bad environments for the music because we're not creative of how we can present it and how more varied it could be and how more people could get into it if we just were more creative with it.
Yes. Now, I was listening to one of your performances, or one of it's like a documentary that was I think
NPR or something.
yeah, NPR documentary, and I heard something that you say. I can't really quote it verbatim, but it's you kind of said that a lot of people just want to take from jazz. They're not bringing something to the table. Can you expatiate on that?
That's interesting. That statement is a statement people like to always bring up
Okay.
that I said in that very wonderful jazz night in America.
Yeah, and it's true.
No, I mean, yes, and I'm saying it again. I mean, in the sense that we don't give back. We don't give back to the ancestors. We don't show them enough love. That's why the world is very jagged right now. That's why art is in a very hard place in the world, because the ancestors are very upset that we have rejected them. And that's why art is having it's deep. Art is having a very great time in the sense that there's a lot of incredible art happening, but the way that it's unbalanced
Yeah.
because we've really disrespected the ancestors by not really using the tools and the hidden cues and the secret meanings. There's a lot of stuff they've left there for us to really like testify with.
Can you give me an example?
There's a lot of examples. like it could be anything. It could be just the way Fats Waller puts together a song like "The Joint Is Jumping." That's a perfect example. Like, you know what we're not doing? We're not when as black people, we're not letting the world see an understanding of the culture in a way that is high art, deep, and now. Like Joint Is Jumping. That's a great example of what is it about? That's about black people in Harlem having a good time. Look how he lays down the record. Has the solo. Da 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 da. Has the plays the perfect example of how to put a record together. There's so many different hidden cues, you know, they've left. There's things that Earl Hines plays where it's like, whew, somebody took that little piece there. You'd find a whole nother land in there.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
We don't listen deep enough. That's because we disrespect them.
Yeah.
We listen surface.
I have two questions for you. The first one is, do you think, because when I watch
And what's your sign?
you mean like birth sign,
Your
like
astrological.
astrological? I mean Taurus. I don't.
Taurus. When is your date of birth?
May 6th. I haven't really explored that though. I don't know if if that helps with art. It does.
Of course it helps with art.
Right?
Of course
Okay,
it helps with art. That's connected to the sun and the moon and the
Okay.
stars and the gods.
Yeah. What are you?
I'm a Taurus.
Oh, really?
I'm the 26th of April.
Oh, okay.
So
Quite
I
close.
know exactly about the Taurian.
Yeah.
I'm a Taurian, and you have to know about that. That's an important part of knowing yourself and knowing
Yes.
who you are.
Yeah.
That's connected to the gods and the information they left in the earth, so that we can know more about ourselves. So that so that the sun affects you and the water affects you and the stars affect you, because you're from the earth and you're a child of the earth. So you must know about your astrological sign, your rising sign. It's very important. This is rejection of the ancestors. This is information they've left here for you to know. You are there, not even interested. Then you don't even know who you are. You can't do that.
I like how you switch the accent on me.
Of course.
Give me the real deep African.
No, you know, when you need it to be spoken, you
Yeah.
speak in the tongue.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying to you is that this is an example of us rejecting the ancestors.
I
You
get
know
it.
this thing was happening before you were born. You say you are Taurus. I don't know anything about it. The information is there for you. I say, you know that even before you were here, Egyptians, the Greeks, they were looking
They
at
were-
this.
exactly.
Africans were dealing with this. Yoruba people were dealing with this. You are there saying nothing. Rejection.
True.
So you must know. As a Taurian, let me tell you about you. You have a very big heart. You're very selfless. You probably deal with a lot of loneliness,
Interesting.
because we're loners. We can be on our own. We enjoy our own company.
I do. I definitely
You know,
do.
without, we're not lonely.
Yeah.
We're just lone.
Yeah.
But Taurian love their company the most. You know, as Taurian, you know, jealousy follows us. People are jealous of us because it's not even because we have anything. It's more just our spirits.
Yeah.
Jealousy will follow you all throughout your life as a Taurian. You don't even do anything to nobody. It's nothing you have done. It's just they just feel your spirit, because you know Taurian spirit, the Taurus spirit, people feel balanced by us because we are lovers. We give love. So people will always be jealous of that. People like you, or people think you have money, or people think you have more than what you have. So, you know, you have to always be praying for protection. But Taurians are one of the most blessed signs, because the Taurian is also connected to some of the Orishas in Yoruba culture. Shango, Oshun. So the Taurian is it's a very deep one. And Taurians, also people, you're leaders. People follow you. So it's a very incredible sign. So you know your power and try and find more information about it so that you empower yourself and you can maneuver what you need to get into the world.
Definitely.
Anyway, Kobo, carry now.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I want to ask you a question about vocals. But before that, I want to know, when did you nail it down to being a vocalist? Because you've played a lot of instruments.
I know. About 21.
Okay.
21 was when 21 was a good time.
Okay.
When I say good time, I mean in 21, and it's not 21 just a few years ago. It's, I'm only in my 30s. I'm a baby. But 20 to 30, a lot happens. I don't know how much was happening between like 12 and something. But 21, 21 is when I really kind of started foreseeing what my talent could do. Not really what my voice could do, but what my talent could do and what my talent could do through my voice. And that's when I decided,
Nice.
I'm going to sing.
Okay. And since you decided that, did you just focus on the voice and maybe stopped playing other instruments, or did
I only could focus on the voice.
on the voice? Yeah. Nice. I would like to know if you have a few or any advice for somebody who is a vocalist. I'm saying this because when I watch you, I feel like you found your voice as a singer. You found your voice and you're very comfortable with it, and you can bend it however you want to and still be very comfortable with it. You don't think twice about the notes you put out, So is there something that a vocalist needs to know about their voice? If you're going to tell a vocalist, hey, this is one thing I want to tell you, is there that one thing?
You have to listen a lot. You have to listen to a lot of the great singers, because the more you listen to a lot of them, the more you get strength to be more confident in what you want to project. Even if sometimes it doesn't come out the way you want it to come out. But if you have listened to a large range of voices, they'll support you. There'll be someone you listen to that maybe was doing a little bit better, much better what you tried to do, but it was connected to that. If you ain't checked out no one, you're gonna be loose bed. Like, I don't even know. But if you've listened to enough, if you've listened to enough Mildred Bailey, if you listen to Bing Crosby, if you listen to Bobby Bland, if you listen to Jimmy Scott, if you've listened to Nat King Cole, if you listen to Ray Charles, if you've listened to Lowell Folsom, if you listen to Elmore James, if you've listened to Howlin' Wolf, if you've listened to Maria Callas, if you've listened to Pavarotti, if you've listened to Marvin Gaye, if you've listened to Smokey Robinson, if you've listened to Joe Ligon, if you've listened to Archie Brownlee, if you've listened to Johnny Cash, Burl Ives, Louis Armstrong, if you've listened to these people,
Wow. I like that.
if you've listened to Al Green, if you've listened to Stevie Wonder, if you've listened to Solomon Burke, if you've listened to James Brown, if you've listened to the Orioles, if you listen to the Ink Spots, they'll back you up. They'll back you up. But if you ain't listened to any of those people, or you haven't listened to the array of range of people of that
caliber,
you've got to do a lot of listening, because if you've done a lot of listening, you'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. Yeah.
And then just try and work with your instrument as much as you can. It's hard, you know. You know, it's hard being a musician and living and working and trying to get gigs and stuff and keep a good practice regime and all that stuff. But just do the best you can, even if you sing in the day and you can sing in the shower. But if you can do a few scales, if you could just try and work in it a little bit, you know, it's you know, you got to survive and you got to work and you got to go to meetings and just do something. You know, even now when I get home, I'm gonna sleep for a little bit and then I'm gonna do some practice. You know, so that
Nice.
like, you know, I can sound a little bit better than what I would like to sound.
Yeah. Now I have this question. Is it what do you think is more important? Is it the fine-tunedness of a note or the emotional connection?
That's interesting because I'm still trying to, you know, get better with my tuning and stuff like that, and you know, and it's slowly getting better and stuff, you know. You know, it depends. It depends how deep the person is. Someone like Betty Carter, you know, they always gonna be saying, you know, she was there, she was out. It's like her shit is so deep.
Yeah.
She making her own tuning. She make it work.
Yeah.
Because what do you mean tuning? She making the tuning. She's not out of tune. She is the tune. So you know, and they'll say Maria Callas was flat when she got older and got, you know, skinnier. You know, it's just like, I don't know what's happening over here with this chat you're chatting. Now there's some people that it's like, ooh. And I might have in my life been one of those oohs. You know, I'm trying to not do the oohs, but you know, you gotta, you know, you want to be good. You know, you want to be cool. You want to have your stuff in check, and you know, and you want to have the deep emotion of this of the vibe of what you're trying to. You want to have it all. You want to sound like. You want to sound like Aretha Franklin. You want to sound like. Al Hibbler, you know, you want to sound, you know, you it also too, you change who you want to sound like. Maybe sometimes you want to sound like Billy Eckstein. Maybe sometimes you want to sound like Johnny Taylor.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes you want to sound like Herb Jeffries, and then sometimes you want to sound like 1960s, 61 James Brown. So you have to also figure it out who you want to sound like.
Yes,
thing too.
And it takes listening.
It takes listening. It takes
and
also
working on your
listening and
instrument.
doing you at the same level and balance,
Nice.
which is very difficult.
Yes, I like that. I have a few questions remaining.
How many more?
Maybe 3 more.
Oh, that's cool.
3 more. Okay. And then we're going to play a little game. These are just open.
What kind of game?
Oh, you'll be fine. Okay. These are very open-ended questions. The first one is this: what does performance mean to you?
Performance is in every entity. Do you perform the art? Do you perform when you sing? Do you perform? Do you perform? What is the art of the performance? How do you deal with that? How do you present it? I'm always trying to understand that more. The performance of the thing. You know, in the most purest sense. You know, in perfect balance, with elegance, with taste, with spirit and vibe and feeling. Next.
Do you think more jazz musicians should strive more to be performers than just people who play music?
Yeah, you know, we struggle with that. We struggle with that. We struggle. It's not our fault as jazz musicians in this era, because your first you know, the ancestors, you know, some of their first performance, you had a whole different array of the environments they were in. If you were something like Lester Young, your first performance, Shakes, was in a circus. If you were that Oscar Pettiford family, that was the same. If you were the Slide Hampton, if you were Bobby Timmons, it was a church. You know, like these people had a very wide range of first performance opportunities. Now in this era, a person that's coming up in jazz, your first performance opportunities are this horrible, crusty recital hall in some school in front of some judges and teachers where you're just like saying, hate me, this is horrible, and if this is what it's gonna be, God help me. And then you just project into that, and then you come to New York, and then you play like that in the club, and then that's how you do it. And then you go to school in New York, and then you just have 50 of those horrendous recital shakes. You know, where you gotta play and do your compositions. You know, so and that's how you ain't getting your performance opportunities in the church.
Yeah.
There is still that. There's still a small group of musicians who are still coming from the Afro-American church and becoming quite incredible musicians through jazz, which has always been quite a deep thing. It's just there definitely has been a disconnect. Because that's what gave jazz the variety it had, is because those musicians came from such a slew of all those different type of early apprenticeships.
Do you think those apprenticeships are they still as vibrant as back? No, not anymore.
A lot of those things have been wiped out.
Yeah.
They've been wiped out because of institutions. Those were institutions. Those were the real institutions. A circus, a traveling family band.
Nice. Yeah. In maybe 3 words, what does jazz mean to you? You can use more than 3 words. You can use less than 3 words if you want. But take your time.
It's one of the most perfect examples of expressing yourself in the present, in the past. And it's one of the most perfect examples of expressing yourself in the present and connecting with the past and being able to connect with the future.
Nice. Nicely said. Now I have this little game I call turn up, mute. I'll give you 2 choices. You turn one up, we mute the other. But the one you're muting, it doesn't mean that you're not feeling it. You're just not feeling it at the moment. You're feeling the other one, the one you turned up at the moment. All right? Does that make sense?
We'll see.
All right. All right. James Brown, Fela Kuti.
So the one I like, I say...
Yeah, the one you like. It doesn't mean you hate the other one. It just means which one would you want to listen to now.
Okay, so I say what? Turn up.
Yeah.
Okay, so say it again.
Fela Kuti, James Brown.
Turn up.
Turn up what?
James Brown.
James Brown. Cool. Why? I think I know.
James Brown, because James Brown is somebody I got to know and
Wow.
and be around. So there's a personal connection. Fela Kuti is someone that I grew up listening to his music. For my mother, being a Nigerian and loving him. So that's very deep to my heart too. But James Brown is
nice. Okay. Get it. Bebop, blues.
You know, I'm gonna say bebop because you can find the blues in bebop.
Very good answer.
So I can't get bebop and blues.
Awesome answer. I like that.
But I can get some blues in bebop.
Yeah.
I put Charlie Parker on and get blues. I could put Dexter Gordon and get some blues, and it's still gonna be some bebop in it too.
Nice.
That's the power of jazz. That it fused all of those root music in a way, so so that you wouldn't feel empty.
Yes. London, New York.
Turn up, New York.
All right. I think that's settled. Michael MWENSO.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for letting me come into your house. Why? I didn't know. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I hope we can do this again.
I hope so too.
Nice. Later.
So you win. No regrets. No regrets. You better stand up tall. You better stand up tall. You better stand up tall. And you will.
Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall.
Stand tall, my friend.
Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall.
Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. So you win. And you lose. So you win. And you lose.
Time will tell when all those things must come to pass.
You better stand up tall. 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 And you will.
Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall.
Stand tall, my friend.
Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall.
Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. So you win. And you lose. So you win. And you lose.
Strength will keep, it will keep you here. Strength will keep you here. Strength, oh, strength will keep you here. Oh, strength, oh, strength, oh, strength will keep you here. Spring is only a memory, a memory.